for having me again this week. I think one of the most important things of all is that we need to take time and define the difference between a leader and an orator. I think what we have come across throughout the decades are excellent orators, but we've not had an opportunity to have what I would consider an excellent leader, at least since Marcus Garvey.
Okay. I like that. That sounds good. Dr. Black, are you still with us?
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Talut said that one of the things he sees is that there's a distinction between a great orator, if you will, and a great leader.
Well, I noticed that Garvey was a great leader, and he was. He was the first that was getting something done.
Okay.
So hopefully there'll be other people who can do as much as Garvey did, rather than depending on what Garvey did to lead us. In other words, they all need to get up and beat Garvey or Elijah or whoever. And I think that he's right, that those people did show a marvelous tenacity, ability to lead. And if we can use what they did as a template, then 9 times out of 10 there would be quite a number of leaders that would effectively be getting something done.
Okay, Dr. Talut, go ahead.
Well, the thing again is, our oratory skills, I think we perfect that as a people. We have a tremendous amount of people that can speak very well about what we should and shouldn't be doing. But we seem to have a lack of people or individuals who can actually do as a leader does. And I use one example of what I would consider is a leader, and that's, say, Fred Smith. Fred Smith of FedEx. That's a leader. Now, does he have oratorial skills? I don't think so. Not equal to the orators that we have had to stand in front of us. Microsoft, Bill Gates, a leader. And we can go on and on and on.
Okay.
And point to the differences between an orator or a very good speaker and a leader.
Okay, now that makes me have so many questions. I don't know which one to go for first. But Dr. Black, and reflecting on Marcus Garvey, seems to me that Marcus Garvey possessed both oratorical skills and leadership skills. Comment, please.
He did. And at the same time, I think maybe we need to examine the fact that he was rather egomaniacal, and that may have gotten in the way of what he was trying to accomplish, because he was micromanaging so much that some of his leadership skills might have gotten in the way of what he was doing. I do agree with the brother who was speaking there as far as suggesting that a number of people who are supposed to be, they say they're leaders, are actually demagogues, and they got something nice to say, but they're not getting anything done.
Absolutely. And I think a lot, oftentimes when I think about leaders, Dr. Black, I think about the person that goes away and out from his own land and go discover a new land and bring back the resources, the minerals, and whatever else he can bring back to his land as proof that he discovered a new land, and then give a plan on what needs to be done to get back to that land and develop it, or use it, or purchase or whatever you have to do. I consider that as a leader.
Okay.
And when I think about leadership, I definitely see that ship that goes out over the horizon and come back with new things and new ideas and new ways of doing things as evidence of a new discovery.
Okay, Dr. Talut, Dr. Black says something that stands out to me. And sounds like, Dr. Black, interpretation that you're saying that couple of things, that the mass of the people, instead of looking for a leader, should develop some insight for themselves. And it also sounds like you're saying, in reference to Marcus Garvey, that leadership calls for some self-examination of oneself, to see, to do retrospect, introspect, and develop some respect across the board. Comment, please.
That's right. That's exactly right. You know, and I think that the brother's absolutely correct. People should start trying to do something, accomplish something, if you will, bring back from the exploration of the exploratory movement that they involved themselves in, and build something.
Absolutely.
So,
without letting leadership cause them to feel that they run everything.
okay, that makes sense. Dr. Black, Dr. Talut, sounds like you are talking about the expansion of the mind, expanding beyond one's own little circle. You're talking about going out on the ship, out on the ocean, out on the sea, worldwide, even beyond the planet. Is that, am I getting that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that a leader is a physical thing. It's a physical thing. It's not so much of a psychological thing. It's someone is out front physically, producing and bringing back to the people something of value. An orator is someone who's more psychological or spiritual in nature.
Okay.
That person can stand before people and say a lot of wonderful things, but they don't do anything.
Okay, Dr. Black, let me say this. I'm getting your point, Dr. Talut, and I agree with you in part. Dr. Black, do you agree that a leadership is physical and not mental, or is it a combination of the two? Then I want to follow a question on that.
I think that everything is a combination of the two. I think that when they get through talking, they better get up and start doing something.
Okay. Well,
So,
no, go ahead. Finish your statement.
so then,
Oh, no, I was going to say, Dr. Talut spoke on orators and leaders, someone who can plan, strategize, and put things in motion, but is not necessarily a great spokesman. Totally agree, 100%. So in this case, should it be a person or a group of people who are able to analyze that aspect and have what you need in terms of leadership? Perhaps this person is a spokesman, but perhaps there's one who is a better strategist, a better planner, maybe even a better thinker. But so that calls for a great degree of trust, if you ask me, and comradeship. That's what I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're on a ship or a yacht and sailing out on the sea, you're going to have camaraderie.
Right.
Okay, you're going to have confidence in your captain, okay, and or your leader, and you're going to have to be able to follow orders. That's where the people come in.
Right.
The people have a responsibility, okay, and if the people do not follow orders of their leader, you're going to have a failed mission, without a doubt.
Dr. Black, do you see this kind of trust and camaraderie among the general populace of the African American community? Is that part and parcel of the problem? Hello, Dr. Black.
It seems like he's gone, but the thing about it is, see, it's leadership encounters two embodiments.
Yes.
The embodiment of the head and the embodiment of the body. And they both have to cooperate. Okay, and if there's no cooperation, you won't have any success whatsoever. So the people, 40 million black people are responsible, okay, to be able to hear a leader and then follow the dictates of that leader. Okay, to the point whereby that leader has proven that he or she has the capability to go out and find these discoveries and come back with the facts without the emotions, without the demagoguery. You know, in other words, this is true. I have discovered this over here.
Right.
Now, it comes back to the responsibility of the people.
Right.
Yes, we want to explore that further.
Okay. In terms of how does a leader or leadership evolve or arise? There are different kinds of leaders.
Yeah. Leadership is a nature in itself. It comes from the Spirit of God in many, in almost all cases.
Okay.
It comes from the spirit, the inner spirit of an individual who may or who is extremely observant
Yes.
about what's happening in their environment,
Yes.
what's happening to their people. And in a long run, they begin to develop ideas and concepts on how to correct the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And as they do, they are, as we call, blessed to be able to help raise their people out of deplorable and sometimes despicable conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But the problem comes in with the 40 million people today is they expect a leader to do things for nothing.
Okay.
Okay, for zero. I mean, to, bring the whole 40 million people out of our deplorable condition for nothing.
Excuse me.
And if that leader says, look, we need resources to further develop ourselves, they will automatically reject him.
Okay.
Unless he or she is a preacher.
Good point. Is Dr. Black still with us?
Oh, no, he gone.
It seems like something happened. Let's take a minute. I want to say a few words about a few people. Sister Desi X, located at 975 Thomas Street at the House of Knowledge with her pre-class education preschool institution. She says that her 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds operated at the first and second grade level. 277-5917. We want to thank Brother Omar Memra as well and his wife for crisscrossing the country and building a network that will sustain trade and commerce. Not only that, I want to go now and say a few things about Brother Jabril at the Marcus Garvey Institute, located at Parkway in Lauderdale. Call or go by and see Brother Jabril Shabazz, 901-643-6271. Also, Alvin's Tire and Tree Service, located at 1211 North Hollywood Street. Alvin said, bad tire, I'll come to you. Don't worry about it. Give him a call at the office, 452-1435, or call him at 503-5762. He said, bad tire, I'll come to you. Don't worry about it. Also, I want to make mention of a sad situation. Brother Tatum's daughter passed away. Give him a call at 591-0746, or call Patricia Lurie at 849-1437. His daughter passed away. Tammy Threadgill, I'm going to be giving something myself. Give him a call, see if we can help out. Do not forget, African April is coming soon. Cultural Awareness Festival. April 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Dr. Black, if you're still out there, give us a call. Call us back. Dr. Tulu, I'm going to go back to you and say, sounds like you're talking about commitment. You're talking about dedication. We said trust. And you're talking about cooperation. And cooperation, seems to me that African Americans, generally speaking, have a problem with cooperating. So are we talking about different aspects of leadership and organizing, being able to invent, be creative?
Yes, we are. And the most important part of that is that Black Americans are in a unique situation in America. We tend to believe that other people are better leaders than we are ourselves. So when we speak in terms of leadership, most Black people are looking outside their own culture
In fact,
and ethnicity.
yeah, and well, you're right. In fact, that's what Dr. Black just said. He said a lot of us, even within our own group looking outside of that individual self for other leaders. They also said that people looking to live on Garvey's past and accomplishments, and I go further than that and say on many of the past leaders for their accomplishments to carry us through in the 20th century, and that within itself can be or is problematic. So, expound on those.
Well, we're comfortable with the way things are right now. Okay, we accept the way things are right now, and primarily, especially in the southern states, I'll just say the red states for political purposes. We are comfortable with just simply getting a job.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Okay, and leadership doesn't matter to us at all. We just want to get a job.
You get a job. Yeah. Why should African Americans not be satisfied with the way things are? Why should they?
Well, because there's a world out there.
Okay.
A huge world. Many nations and nationalities and cultures to be explored by us, Black Americans, who primarily haven't been outside of the United States, in many cases outside of our neighborhood.
Yeah,
and we have to invest.
South Memphis right there. How about Springdale?
Yeah, we have to invest in a future that allow us to go explore the world and bring back commodities, products, and ideals about services. We cannot be content with just getting a job. Okay, the world has gone by us. Okay, and we're going to have to catch up fast.
So you're saying being content with just getting a job means that the world will go on by you? Is that what that means?
The world has gone on by.
The world has gone on by just being content with getting a job.
And an example is, even as far as in the 1980s when the internet became the new gold rush, many of us were outside the loop completely, even though the knowledge was available to everybody. Okay, and we didn't understand what getting a domain meant. We didn't understand many of those things that made other people extremely wealthy.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you.
Because we were more or less interested in getting the job. When they found those organizations, we just wanted the job. We didn't want the exploration.
Okay. And I'm good, man. I got a job. I'm trying to get a house. Finally got the house. Hey, man, look here. I'm good.
Yeah. That leadership stuff that I'm talking about don't mean nothing right now.
To them, right? Well, let me ask you this. Should each individual ask themselves the question, what contribution can I make? How can I contribute? What is we were talking about self-examination. Do I possess the personality, the qualities, to move thus and thus and so on? Am I an out front person? Am I an orator? Am I behind the scene person? And should we accept our position but make that a strengthening position?
A good question.
Strengthen? Yes.
It's a good question.
Take off on it.
But think, we're in the 21st century, a decade in the 21st century. Okay? And think about where these 40 million people are today and what their appetites are. Okay, their appetites are very simple, as you mentioned, a house, a car, and some clothes.
And I'm good.
And a little food. I'm cool. Okay, now, that's a lot of people to be outside the loop of trade and commerce. Okay. We, as a people, are going to have to take 10 years to organize our minds about what is right for human beings, period. What is the right course for human beings? And get out of the box of, hey, I just want a job. It's a whole lot more in life to have. You got hands. Create your own job. Okay? It takes a little time. It's a little tougher. But you'll be making it. You'll make a living. But the thing about it is, it's employment. And that is a slave mentality. See, that's a slave mentality. The slave mentality of 40 million people. Just work. I just want to work.
Okay.
I don't want to create anything. I want to work.
So you're telling me that after all those hundreds of years of being captured, whatever they want to call it, indentured, slaves, in 2013, there are African Americans who still operate under the genre of a slave mentality?
Absolutely. Case in history.
Okay.
Just look out the window.
Oh.
I mean, it's real simple. Just look around. You'll see it everywhere. It's prevalent. It's real.
Give the audience an example of a slave mentality. When we look out the window, give us an example, Doctor, so that we will know. Perhaps I'm operating in that genre, and sometimes we may not know. So enlighten us, brother. What do we see?
Yeah, a slave mentality is dominated by the imaginary white man.
Okay.
They see things out of their minds, or in their minds. They see things through the prism of what the ancient white man might or might not want.
Sounds like you're saying that the progress of going forward is stymied by the idea that someone is limiting their own imagination, their own creative thinking and going forward, and I should not do this because someone such as the imaginary white man is stopping me. And if that's the case, that's a serious pathological disease.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying, Doctor?
Yes, absolutely.
Come on and prescribe. Prescribe some prescriptions today.
Psychological oppression. In other words, you cannot rise as high as what's in your mind. It's impossible. If it's not in your mind, you can't do it. Okay, so the cure for that disease is to constantly reflect on the fact, am I afraid of what might happen to me or what might not happen to me, or do I have the courage to move out on what's in my mind?
Okay.
That's correct and
Tell
accurate and true.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us what fear and courage is.
Fear is a psychological emotion more than anything. It's the imaginary harm that one will undertake if one go out in a strange environment or strange thought.
You're saying if he thinks about going out to explore and discover and bring it back to the people, there's something within that person's mind and soul that said, no, I better not do that.
I better not do that. I'm going to lose my wife. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose my car, my children, the dog. I'm going to lose my cell phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose everything if I go out and try to do something on my own. That's a fear.
Well,
courage is the faith in Almighty God that whatever my consequence may or may not be, I'm going to act on it in some shape, form, or fashion. Okay. I'm not going to just push it away completely. I'm going to act on that.
Okay.
I'm going to condition my wife and my children and the people I pay my mortgage and my car. I'm going to condition them to the point whereby they'll be saying, hell, you need to go out there and try something, man. Try.
Okay. Well, that definitely sounds like leadership qualities. And we may come back sometime and talk about the leadership qualities of Talut El-Amin. But for right now, but some may question that and say, well, what do you mean, Doctor, by talking about conditioning someone, conditioning your wife, your woman, your girlfriend, and your children? What do you mean by saying that? Some way, within leadership, there could be some flaws within personality. So what would you say to someone if they would raise that particular question to you?
Well,
we've got 3 minutes.
Yeah, conditioning your loved ones and preparing them for what you are going to explore and develop as a man is a necessity. You have to lead them first.
Okay.
They have to have the trust and the confidence in you first before you can do any good out in the world.
What if your wife possessed leadership qualities?
Follow her.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's a double blessing. You and your wife have qualified. Man, you're looking at the ultimate success of all successes.
All right. So that wouldn't that require some discussion, some compromise, some negotiating, and some degree of compatibility, or being able to arrive at a compatible solution called managing oneself and relationships?
Yes, it does. And the thing is that if, for an example, if you have a reluctant wife or a spouse or a girlfriend or somebody that's holding back, okay, they're hurting you more than they're doing you any good by holding back. So it's a community thing. It's all of us. It's man, woman, children, everybody has to start cooperating. When a man says, I'm going to go out here and do something with my hand, everybody needs to put in on that, okay? Because the successes are much greater than the losses would ever be. But time is a factor. And our problem is the next month bill has to be paid.
Yeah.
Okay? The next month bill keeps a lot of us from exploring new ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And being creative as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You can't get out there and make a great drawing that's worth $1 million when you got to pay the light bill next month.
Well,
and it's only $85 and you catch pure hell paying that.
Right, I totally agree with you, and something should be done about that if you ask me. And so we're going to come back later on and talk about your main subject, the one you really love, and that is trade and commerce, and I totally agree with you. And in fact, we have, you hear me talking about Brother Omar and his wife crisscrossing the country, and she's in Ghana right now and attempting to build a network that will help sustain trade and commerce to address that issue. And we're about out of time, and do come back next. Play my song, Super J.
You're rolling.
Come back.